Hello and welcome to the Beatport podcast. My name's High Class Filter, and on today's show, I'll be talking to Michael Brun, who's just dropped his new album, Lokal. Along with an impressive set of collaborators including Major Lazer and Mr. Easy, Lokal sees Michael exploring his Haitian roots with a wide range of Haitian sounds and influences. I caught up with Michael ahead of the album release and spoke about getting his break in music, the collaborations on the album, and why it's important for him to fly the flag for Haitian sounds. Before we get into the interview, I'm starting you off with a track from the new album. This is Akwaba Ayiti featuring Guilty Beats and Mr. Easy.
Beatport Podcast.
Make a be a sponsor.
Akwaba, content en pile ou fin fontan en bas. Non moins t'es bon vide, toute l'heure t'es là-bas. La rencontre c'est faite, pas gain t'es à pas. Des Canada, à Haïti sous Jacques privé. Mon peine dem plaisir en idée. Ramène nous là-bas, dit c'est tifré paradis. Fait mes jeux vivre d'eau, bah paparazzi. Wallonné, bébé, c'est mon calonné. Mais c'est mon calonné, m'nan bébé. Qui parlonné. Moi pas capon, pas de chambre. Mon team vagabond, pas de diable.
You're listening to the Beatport podcast with me, High Class Filter, and I'm joined now by Michael Brun. How's it going?
Well, thanks for having me.
You've been over in London this week. How's it been?
I really love London. I've been here about 4 or 5 days now, so spending a week total, and got to work with some really cool artists, meet a lot of great people, and then the reception for the album launch for Lokal was so overwhelming. I did not expect that many people to show up.
Yeah, tell me a bit about the album. Like, what can we expect from the project, and what were your kind of inspirations behind the release?
So this album is something I've been working on for the last 3 years, and it's really about showing a mosaic of Haitian sounds and culture, while at the same time working with a few international artists that really understood the message of what we were saying. So, for example, we have Major Lazer on here, with Mr. Easy, Adekunle Gold, Guilty Beats, and actually Win and Regine from Arcade Fire too, which is like such a crazy mix. So it's Haiti and Haitian music from my perspective.
And for anyone listening who might not have heard much Haitian music before, like, how would you describe it? What kind of sounds and influences are there in that music?
I think the album, when you listen through it, you really get like a nice snapshot of how large the music scene is there and how varied. So there's more traditional music like Rara, which is very high paced, like fast paced, energetic, like ritualistic tribal music. But then there's also Kwapa, which is more traditional dance music, and then there's mixes with house music as well. So there's like influences of South African house music, and then influences of Afrobeat as well. So like Nigerian and Ghanaian music and Caribbean music as a whole. So it's really diverse, and I do think that when you listen to Lokal, you get a nice picture of all of it.
And it seems like quite a personal project as well.
Yeah.
So for you, like, why was it so important for you to reflect like those Haitian sounds and influences?
I've just realized that in touring and traveling and speaking to so many different artists and people around the world, that a lot of people know Jamaican music. I would say almost everybody does. They know dancehall, they know reggae. A lot of people know Latin music. They would know what reggaeton is. They would know bachata maybe, but nobody knows what Haitian music sounds like. They might know compa and they might know the Fujis and Wyclef, but that's it. There's no like further really understanding or exposure. So I wanted to change that because I feel like people should know what Haitian music sounds like because it's beautiful and it's really culturally rich. And I think that that's been the core concept from the start with this, and also to just build bridges between Haiti, the Caribbean, Latin America, Africa, the rest of the world.
Listening back to some of your earlier music, some of your earlier work, it's a bit more like club focused. Was there a point where you decided, okay, I'm gonna switch it up and focus more on those Haitian sounds?
Yeah, there definitely was. I mean, I feel like I've had two careers really, because when I started, I was 19, and I started producing since I was 15, but I started professionally DJing, and I'd had a career in this since 19, so that's 8 years now. I'm 27 now, so it's been a whole journey. First learning how to make music, right, like how to actually produce, and the first few successful tracks that I ever had were it was with Dirty South. He was like one of the first people that signed my songs. Hardwell as well was another one, and I got to remix and collab on music with Calvin Harris and Tiesto and Armin and some of the best for progressive house and EDM at that time. And I think along the way I just learned how to be a better producer, and I learned about like what I wanted to be as an artist. And the transition happened where I was no longer trying to sound like Swedish House Mafia or any particular artist, but instead I wanted to just be my own artist and be myself. So I wanted to incorporate the sounds of my country and of my culture, and it just kind of went from there.
How did you first kind of get into producing as well? Was it through those kind of like house and like EDM sounds, or have you always been producing Haitian music as well? So
it was something that I always played piano. I played piano since I was like 5-6 years old, and then guitar and violin, and did a lot of different instruments growing up. Production really came up after I started DJing, because I started DJing at 15, 14, and just for fun, virtual DJ, and like building up from there, making mashups first, and then electronic music was so exciting to me because it was the first time I ever felt like a genre of music was mine. Like it wasn't my parents or my cousins or anything. It just felt like, wow, like I discovered something that so many people around the world listen to as well. And the internet was the main source. Like I was on forums, and I was on producer forums, and I was on like new music release forums, and it was just so exciting to me. And it just went from being a listener into being a creator. And yeah, from that point on, it just naturally continued into making progressive house, because that was what I was really, really into.
I was reading that you were in the middle of studying for a medical degree, right? Yeah. When the music kind of started to blow up for you. What was that like, trying to kind of balance your studies with the music, and how did you kind of eventually decide that music was the path that you were going to go down?
So I always thought that I was going to be a doctor. I had a full scholarship for medicine when I was at Davidson College in North Carolina, and I was a biology major. I loved music, but I didn't ever think it was going to be a career. It was just a passion, honestly. It was a hobby and a passion. But as it started picking up on SoundCloud, and I started getting like more plays, and then official remix requests, and then met my manager and like agent, and things just got real pretty quick. When I was a sophomore, I just saw that if I wanted to do this seriously, I had to really focus on it. And if I focused on that, then my school would hurt. And if I focused on school, like vice versa. So I just had to make a call. And the moment that was really clear to me was Dirty South actually invited me down to Ultra, and we played the song was called Rise. So he brought me on stage to play Rise, and it was like 15,000 people in the tent, and it was just ridiculous. I was 19. The day before I went to Miami, I did a chem test. So I took my chem test, went on the flight down to Miami. Never been to a music festival before. Went on stage with him. Just met the guy. Like I didn't even know him yet, and he's a good friend now. But just met him at that point. And it was just insane. Like it just felt like endless possibility. And when I spoke to my parents, I spoke to actually the school as well. the dean and my advisor and friends, everybody told me it was a no-brainer. I have to do it. And luckily the school held my scholarship. So if anything went wrong, if it didn't, I could always go back.
C'est maladie, moi j'agis, vais pas tarder. Je vois plus mes ennemis, je suis devant parler. Parler, j'ai plus le temps. Tant que c'est joli, c'est sexy, c'est beau. Je te donne du réel, du solide, du gold. Pour équipe ou belle, faut t'arrêter les moins. Si on parler de baisse, faut t'en mettre moins. Si on pas les victimes, faut pas mêler moins. Pas parler de ça pour me faire vim, si on pas péder moins. Si on chercher lui-même, faut qu'à clairer moins. Pour qu'à éliminer, faut t'à créer moins. Si on aime qu'il tourne, faut parler de moins. Faut rappeler de moins, qui grand mettre les avec moins. Moi c'est magie, moi et poilier. On a passé pour m'aider mélier. Moi chercher un king, moi chercher un geek. Toi, WMR, rappelez pour comme un moilier. Michael dans l'air, elle est trop pas. King, un vilain dit, on fait faux pas. Tout le part qui s'est trop pas. International, peut-être qu'il faut pas parler. C'est maladie, moi j'agis, vais pas tarder. Je vois plus mes ennemis, je suis devant parler. Parler, j'ai plus le temps. Tant que c'est joli, c'est sexy, c'est beau. Je te donne du réel, du solide, du gold.
Silence parler. Sans mettre puissance, sans mettre puissance. M'cabo à vim sans parler. Real femme, banana 10 femmes. Nah, gade bien, man a fake, man a silicone. Dead dog, moi get 10 millions, man uniforme, moi 10 newton. Bam des ans, ma 10 millions cash.
Et l'année, man a boss divorce qui marié. Mal menti pour le pas contrôler. L'aile bague dans tête, moi baillé.
Tipi ça, mi mal passé pichina. Jalousie qu'a fait beaux amis, braquer zam, bidi bidi bam bam. Y'a pas cassé les noms.
Pas parler, c'est maladie, moi j'agis, vais pas tarder. Je vois plus mes ennemis, je suis devant parler. Parler, j'ai plus le temps. Tant que c'est joli, c'est sexy, c'est beau. Je te donne du réel, du solide, du gold. Pas parler, c'est maladie, moi j'agis, vais pas tarder. Je vois plus mes ennemis, je suis devant parler. Parler, j'ai plus le temps. Tant que c'est joli, c'est sexy, c'est beau. Je te donne du réel, du solide, du gold.
Listening through Lokal, there were some amazing collabs on there. You pulled in some amazing artists from a wide range of genres and from different parts of the world as well. So how did you approach kind of choosing who you wanted to collab with, and how did working with those artists shape the sound of the project?
Honestly, it came really naturally. I didn't know I was gonna make an album along this way. I was just kind of in the last 6 months, 7 months that it was like, oh yeah, this is an album. Like it was clear to me. But I've been working on this music for years, 3 years, and like Diplo was a big supporter, for example, and Walshy. So they would play out my music and keep in touch and just like send stuff back and forth. So the Major Lazer collab was just natural. It wasn't necessarily like I need to get Major Lazer on this. It was like we're already working. So yeah, it makes sense. Like this works for the album. In the same way with Arcade Fire, like they had invited me to New Orleans to do some stuff with them, and then getting to do this carnival song with them was just natural. And they were actually Regine from Arcade Fire, she's Haitian, and that connection was really like smooth and natural. So we got to do that song. And then Mr. Easy, we had been not only working together since he came to visit Haiti last year, but then we also toured together. We opened for J Balvin, and it just made sense. It was just like all these people who became friends were also collaborators, so that made sense on the international side. And then on the local side, I was just working in Haiti constantly. I would go back every few months, and I was working with artists across the board around the country, doing shows with them, and I felt like they needed to be heard. It couldn't just stay in Haiti. I wanted everybody in the world to hear it.
And in terms of the production on the album, there's such a wide range of different tempos and styles. Was it tricky to get your head around all those different styles?
I do think this album, especially with the featured artists, they kind of like came into my world of what I was already working on sonically, so which was nice because they kind of, a lot of these artists, maybe on the tracks you hear them on, are a bit different than what they would normally do, but it also still feels like them. It still feels like an authentic version of themselves. It's not like they're changing their whole sound or anything. So that was nice. Like the collaborations were really natural. But then I've worked on so much stuff over the last few years that most of it hasn't even come out yet. So I feel like I had a lot of practice across the board on different genres, that production just became less of like mechanical work. It was more like conceptual, like, yeah, if I put this person and this person together, then that kind of vibe would fit. And it just became more fun, and I didn't have to think of it in like a strict, like calculated sense. It was just more, let me just make vibes, and it doesn't matter what the tempo is, it doesn't matter anything like style wise, let me just do what feels right.
Say for example, when you're working with Mr. Easy, was it kind of like a case of finding a style that would reflect you, but also not sound crazy different from what he would normally do?
Yeah, I mean with Mr. Easy, he's on 2 songs on the project. So like on one of them was a track that I was making that had a really French vibe. Like the chords were very French, and it just felt like Afro trap kind of vibe. And so when I played that to him, his melodies also felt really French, and he doesn't even speak French. So then when we started doing this whole track, we were just like, let's just do Creole and French, man, and give it a shot. And he pulled it off like so well. But I think that was really important too. Is like all these songs that I worked in the studio with the artists too. So it was whatever vibe we were on that day. I think it definitely shows in the music. One of the exceptions was Eda with Belo. That one he actually sent me a voice note of him playing the guitar, and so he was just singing, and I loved it. And I told him, please, man, send me exactly that. And I remember he sent me he re-recorded it, but it was different. And I was like, no, man, listen to your voice note again. Replay exactly what you did in your voice note so I can get it. Because I made the beat based off his, it was like a WhatsApp message, voice note. So I just took that out, put it in Ableton, and then chopped it up and put the drums. And then he resent me the vocal stems, and then we actually laid it out. And then I sent it to Adekunle Gold, who I met a few months earlier. And it made perfect sense to merge like Nigerian vocal and sound and very like folksy style with what Belo is doing, because I feel like he's the kind of mirror image of Adekunle in Haiti, and it just made sense.
Did you find when you were working with artists from like different countries that there were kind of threads between music from different countries and the Haitian music that you were reflecting? Were there kind of similarities that you kind of hadn't realized would be there?
Absolutely. I think that the more I got into this, I had to just do research, I had to do history, like finding the history of the sounds, and especially when I was working with African artists, I wanted to know what influenced those vibes. And then it was funny, like being on tour with J Balvin made me understand how much of reggaeton, I mean, even in the name, right, it's based off reggae, right? So like, I didn't know that. I didn't really understand, oh wow, Dembo came from Jamaica, and that vibe, like that rhythm that they use on everything is Jamaican based. And so it's like, okay, so then in the same way with Afrobeat, a lot of Afrobeat, Afro pop, like that vibe, they use Jamaican sounds too and Jamaican melodies. And in the same way with Haitian music, so much of what we do in Haiti, especially in the street music, is based off of vibes and sounds and melodies from Africa and in the Caribbean. So that research just kind of proved itself in the collabs, because then the artists they understood each other without even meeting. So like Adekunle and Belo, the vibes played off of each other without them even realizing. It was just like, oh, this works really well. And same way with like Easy and the 2 rappers on the track Papa Ale, which means like stop talking. They just like played off of each other really well. And there's so many similarities between these different cultures that I hope are pretty evident when you listen to the project.
The sounds that you've been exploring on this project in particular, are they sounds that you kind of grew up with, or is it something that you've kind of discovered more as an adult?
It's a mix. Some of it is the more traditional stuff I grew up with, like Gaga music and compa. But more recently, I think hip hop's been a really big influence musically and like production wise. I think it's been some of the most cutting edge music over the last like 5 years, and then just like lyrically too. It was just such a great way for people to talk about the social issues that they were facing and what their communities were facing through music. So it's very, the vocal part of it was like very important. So that was more recent. Like I didn't used to focus on lyrics before. I used to focus on melodies and chords, and because like electronic music, a lot of it's instrumental anyway. So it was something I learned about. But then I think as a producer now, the way I approach everything is just trying to get the overall like connective tissue between the sounds. I'm not trying to look at any one thing in isolation. I try to see like, oh yeah, that comes from that and which comes from that. And that helps me to like merge genres way easier, I think. It doesn't feel completely disconnected, because nothing really is. Everything's kind of like based off of each other.
En arrivant moins sous portail, un gendarme arrêté moi. Maman voyait me peser café, ouais. En arrivant moins sous portail, un gendarme arrêté moi. Mes amis, ça m'a dit la caille, elle m'arrivée. Ouais, ça m'a dit la caille, elle m'arrivée. Mes amis, ça m'a dit la caille, elle m'arrivée. Ouais, ça m'a dit la caille, elle m'arrivée. Me peser café, ouais. En arrivant moins sous portail, un gendarme arrêté moi. Maman voyait me peser café, ouais. En arrivant moins sous portail, un gendarme arrêté moi. Mes amis, ça m'a dit la caille, elle m'arrivée. Ouais, ça m'a dit la caille, elle m'arrivée. Mes amis, ça m'a dit la caille, elle m'arrivée. Ouais, ça m'a dit la caille, elle mes amis, ça m'a dit la caille, elle m'arrivée. Ouais, ça m'a dit la caille, elle m'arrivée. Mes amis, ça m'a dit la caille, elle m'arrivée. Ouais, ça m'a dit la caille, elle m'arrivée. Mes amis, ça m'a dit la caille, elle m'arrivée. Ouais, ça m'a dit la caille, elle m'arrivée. Mes amis, ça m'a dit la caille, elle m'arrivée. Ouais, ça m'a dit la caille, elle
In terms of you kind of flying the flag for Haitian music, where would you like to see things kind of progress to? Like, what point would you like to see like Haitian music get to?
I just think it's still at the very beginning stages, which is so like exciting, because another really big part of this project was that my voice is not going to be representative of everybody, right? Of Haiti as a whole. And I think that's like a huge asset as a producer and an artist, right? I do both, so getting to allow, putting these other artists that have their own forms of representation in different sounds and genres and people across the country, getting to put them on songs and letting them speak for their people, for their like communities, it gives you just like better insight into how diverse the country is. So I think allowing more people to be represented just gives you more connection with the world. And since this is so new and like really people, I hope will find out about Haitian music more through this. I hope they dig in and they like look into what other artists are out there and just like do some research, and maybe some other crazy collabs will come up. Like, because I know it's just the beginning. That's a really important thing to me. Because I know I'm gonna keep working on music for the rest of my life. But for a lot of these artists, I want to see them playing in London. I want to see them like playing around the world and having their music on the radio. And I know it's possible.
I think it's interesting that you mentioned that as well, because you wrote a track for the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
So how did that come about? Tell me about that.
So that was actually part of what made me realize, wait, I have to make an album of this stuff.
Yeah.
Because I had done a song called Bayo, and it was a collaboration with 3 artists in Haiti, Strong G, Jay Perry, and Baki. And that song, Bayo, means to give, or like give it to them in Creole, which is a language in Haiti. And from that song, I actually was in the same time period introduced to J Balvin through a mutual friend, and when we spoke, he just connected with what I was doing really, really well. And then he loved the beat. So I told him what the concept was, and I was like, yeah, so this is what we're working on. And a week later, he sent me back the track. And then a few months later, he told me that it was like gonna be a World Cup song, and I couldn't believe it.
Oh, you didn't know that at the time?
I didn't even know when we did it. So it was he literally just sent me a voice note and told me, hey man, the World Cup reached out to me, and they asked me if I have anything to work, and I think Positivo works. So what do you think about that? And then I told him, I can't believe you're even asking me that. Like, just do it. When you're a kid and you think about what big achievements you can have in music, probably, World Cup song is like one of the biggest platforms in the world, right? And I would have never imagined I would have gotten that.
Yeah. For anyone listening who might want to discover more Haitian sounds and Haitian music, what artists should we be looking out for at the moment who are coming up?
I think look at the track list of Lokal, and any names you don't recognize, go listen to what they do, because they're really, really dope. I tried to really do a best of the best from Haiti right now, but there's many others that haven't made the project for time reasons, or we have stuff in the works, but it just didn't make, we couldn't get it done. But I would say that's a really good way to find out more. Also, I'm just constantly sharing stuff, and all these artists, like, check them out, like, follow them, see what's up, see if you like it or not. But I just think it's there's gonna be a lot more attention on this, hopefully, in the near future.
Yeah, definitely, because I have to admit, I don't think I'd heard much Haitian music before listening to the album, and the sounds felt like kind of familiar, but there's like a certain twist to it.
The language, maybe. The language is one part. So Creole, whenever you sing in a specific language, you're gonna be hitting different like syllables and different. The way that you say things is gonna be maybe more aggressive or softer, and just the way that the melodies are formed via language, they change quite a bit. So there's definitely some like iconic Haitian melodies because of Creole. And so when you hear that, you're like, yeah, that's clearly Haitian, if you know what Haitian music is.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Also, just the way that the music is produced is pretty different than anywhere else. And it does sound Caribbean, but it sounds distinct within the Caribbean sound. It's just the same way, like, you can, if you're in the Caribbean, you can tell the difference between a Jamaican song and a Trinidadian song.
Sure, yeah.
And you can tell the difference between like Cuban music and Puerto Rican music, right? Like, it's still Latin or it's still Caribbean, but it feels like it has like very particular differences. But I do think Haiti's very different than the rest of the Caribbean because we speak Creole versus French, or versus like Spanish or English. It's like, oh wait, this is a completely new type of sound. So yeah, it's that's like, aside from the fact that we have the same rhythms and we have the same like instrument types, it does have a very particular vibe to it.
And have you got that you can talk about? Have you got any plans for the live show for the album? Are you going to be taking it on tour?
Yeah, so I just came off tour for I had a project called Bio, which was based on the song, but it was a Haitian block party showcase. So I took that on tour in the US 3 years in a row and sold out all the shows.
Amazing.
Got to bring some really awesome guests. Major Lazer was a surprise guest, Mr. Easy, Maxwell, Adekunle Gold, Marco, Kevin Little. We had so many different people come through, and then a really amazing Haitian lineup of artists. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work, but to see it go from like 20, 50 people to some of these shows got like 2,500 people or 3,000 people. It's just like crazy now. So I would like to find a way to bring that into what Lokal is doing, and then also continuing to do DJ sets, because I've just gotten so much good music from around the world now that I'm playing that all just fits together that you wouldn't maybe see from anybody else. So I've been working on that too. My DJ sets are going to be really interesting though.
Yeah, I mean, we've spoken a lot about the new project, obviously, and the production behind it. But in terms of DJing, what kind of music have you been listening to, like, while you've been making the project? What kind of music have you been collecting for your sets as well?
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of like Brazilian baile funk and Guam from South Africa, and then like Dutch, like, I don't even know what to call it. It's like Afro-influenced electronic music, but it has like a really interesting swing to it. And the bass is on the one. It doesn't have the same swing as like a reggaeton, for example. Yeah. It's like Dutch reggaeton. But like those vibes fit so well with like Nigerian and Ghanaian music, like dance music, and then Caribbean music. So the sound really feels like it'll go from Spanish to Dutch to English to Yoruba to Creole in the same five songs, and you'll just feel the same vibes. It won't shift drastically, which is really exciting, I think, because you want to have a flow of music when you're dancing, right? Like when and it gives me the same kind of hype and excitement that I had when I first got into progressive house music. That it was like so fresh and exciting. So I can't wait for people to hear more of me DJing, because it's gonna be really fun.
Beatport Podcast.
Another big shout out to Michael Brun for joining me on the show today. Go check out his new album Lokal, out now. For the rest of the show, I'll be getting into the mix with some of my favourite bass releases of recent weeks. Starting you off with Looney's remix of Leopold Noonan and Beto Brown's track, Banzai.
Sinto índio em Copacabana, bana, 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 bana. Vou fazer banzé, vou mostrar no pé. Vou dar pra morena tudo, tudo que ela quer. Vou fazer banzé, vou mostrar no pé. Vou dar pra morena tudo, tudo que ela quer. A praia é bonita, a praia é bacana. Me sinto índio em Copacabana, bana, bana, bana. A praia é bonita, a praia é bacana. Me sinto índio em Copacabana, bana, bana, bana. A praia é bonita, a praia é bacana. Me sinto índio em Copacabana, bana, bana, bana. Vou fazer banzé, vou mostrar no pé. Vou dar pra morena tudo, tudo que ela quer. Vou fazer banzé, vou mostrar no pé. Vou dar pra morena tudo, tudo que ela quer. A praia é bonita, a praia é bacana. Me sinto índio em Copacabana, bana, bana, bana. A praia é bonita, a praia é bacana. Me sinto índio em Copacabana, bana, 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 bana. Vou fazer banzé, vou mostrar no pé. Vou dar pra morena tudo, tudo que ela quer. Vou fazer banzé, vou mostrar no pé. Vou dar pra morena tudo, tudo que ela quer. A praia é bonita, a praia é bacana. Me sinto índio em Copacabana, bana, bana, bana. A praia é bonita, a praia é bacana. Me sinto índio em Copacabana, bana, bana, bana.
This track's a collab from two of the most exciting club producers around at the moment, Air Max 97 and TSVI. It's taken from Air Max 97's new EP entitled Fallin' Not Walkin', out now on Decisions.
From time, monophonic ringtone screen start shine. When line a ring certain times just look. I don't wanna hear up to date, I'm fine. Brand new day, you have a brand new motive. New focus, if it ain't then buy. Stuck in the same old, saying the same things, hating the same but doing the same why. I don't wanna know. Blatant and blunt, no it ain't on the slide. Try once and again, if you lose configure. But anyway, God, I'm seeing the signs. Reside with like-minded people beside and slide into nets. So many try and survive on the edge and attempt to push you off cliffs. If it's this, then distance, yeah, I need this. Can't really, I don't wanna know. All this negative energy, wanna chat hella breeze, really I don't wanna know. Telling me about them, I should do it like them, but really I don't wanna know. All of that, no, I don't wanna know. If it ain't me and my dons or girls that I'm on, friends and family, then really I don't wanna know. No, I don't wanna know. All this negative energy, wanna chat hella breeze, really I don't wanna know. Telling me about them, I should do it like them, but really I don't wanna know. All of that, no, I don't wanna know. If it ain't me and my dons or girls that I'm on, friends and family, then really I don't wanna know. Yeah, let me step in. Bubbly vibe, not a stiff face ting. I don't wanna see no bad vibes in. This ting, dead that, go next ting. Cold juice in the cup, me I'm sipping. Kinda wave drifting, trying to draw the piff ting. I can see the tension being lifted. Room bit hot enough, body liquid. Mosh pits going off, it's popping off. Start getting heated and the thing's locking off. Once inside, now they're out, now they're cross. Moving lost, trying to point fingers at the culprit. Now they can't solve it, well we're so hopeless. Won't come back after crying and moaning. Me, I'm still zoning. Like what's next, what's done, I can't change. And plus to be real, I don't wanna know. All this negative energy, wanna chat hella breeze. Really, I don't wanna know. Telling me about them, I should do it like them. But really, I don't wanna know. All of that, now I don't wanna know. If it ain't me and my dons or girls that I'm on, friends and family, then really I don't wanna know. No, I don't wanna know. All this negative energy, wanna chat hella breeze. Really, I don't wanna know. Telling me about them, I should do it like them. But really, I don't wanna know. All of that, no, I don't wanna know. If it ain't me and my dons or girls that I'm on, friends and family, then really I don't wanna know.
The last track you heard was a link up between one of my favourite producers with one of my favourite MCs, Etch and Nico Lindsay. That track was called Don't Wanna Know, and it's out now through Sneaker Social Club. That's all I got time for on today's show. Another big shout out to my guest today, Michael Brun. Remember, his new album Lokal is out now. This has been the Beatport podcast with me, High Class Filter. I'm leaving you with a brand new track from Strategy called Tropical Storm. Catch you next time.
Beatport Podcast.